Hi, guys. Welcome back to Hot Takes with Wheels. And once again, we have the wonderful Jonathan Brawn, our Samsung expert, today with us. Thank you, Jonathan, for joining us once again.
Thank you, Liz. It's my pleasure. Appreciate being here yet again. Eventually, you're going to get tired of me.
Never, not possible. I'm really excited about the topic we're going to discuss today because it's something that comes up so often. And I get questions from my customers all the time, resellers wanting to put in consumer displays in a commercial application and trying to get the understanding of why there is such a difference between the two. And depending on the application, why it makes so much more sense to go for one other the other. So it's a tale as old as time. But let's talk a little bit about the difference between commercial displays and consumer displays and what the solutions are for those.
Absolutely. This is definitely a hot take time because this is one of my pet peeves. And part of it is because I'm a purist. I've been doing this a long time. I've been working with Samsung for over 2 decades. I work with the consumer team at Samsung as well. I've
Mhm.
been doing that for several years now. So I see it from both ends there. And I get it. I get the temptation. Consumer TVs are less expensive. Sometimes they have really compelling features. Like in the Samsung product line, you'll see things like AirPlay in the consumer models. You don't see AirPlay in the commercial models. So that might be there are ways to deal with that, mind you. But yeah, it might seem kind of but the reality is commercial models are just plain more durable. They last longer. They have better warranty because the consumer TVs, the warranty is 90 days over the counter, which isn't great in a commercial environment. So yeah, if you make it through the first 90 days, that's fine. But even if you don't and something goes wrong, you still have to tote the thing to a repair center yourself. Nobody comes on site. So you're still dealing with getting it. I don't want to deal with that, especially with a larger display. Imagine if you had an 85
Right.
inch that had a problem, and then all of a sudden you got to cart that thing to a repair center. It wouldn't fit in my car. I have a Mini Cooper. That's not happening. I have to strap it to the top. I'd look like one of those roving billboards in Vegas. No, not a good image. So there's that. The duty cycle is less on a consumer TV. They're made for 8 to 10 hours a day. Everyone in the audience with kids is laughing right now because of screen time. All I think it's shifted more to phones than TVs, but
That's true.
whatever. And there's kids playing Fortnite. They still play Fortnite. I'm old. I don't
They do.
know.
They
We'll,
do.
we'll
Yeah.
go with that. We'll go with
Yeah.
that. But it's you've got all that kind of go into the duty cycles there, and you don't have a lot of the commercial features you want, especially
Right.
for things like security. There's nothing like having a consumer TV as a digital menu board, and you get somebody who walks up with their phone and goes, "I've got the app, hijack. Look, I'm playing ridiculous cat videos on your screen. There's nothing you can do about
Right.
it." I don't want to deal with any of that. So is there ever a time when a consumer TV could be put into a commercial application? Yeah, if you know the compromises, you're willing to deal with it. I wouldn't use it for something like digital signage, but in a conference room or a huddle space, it's going to be used, 3, 4 hours a day, and you understand the risks. I could see that, but there are options now, and you don't necessarily have to.
And thank goodness for some of those options. So I would say probably about 4 years ago now, Samsung came out with a great answer to this situation, right?
Yeah.
And they introduced their BET line, which
Yep.
is a combination of consumer and commercial displays, which we like to call prosumer,
Yeah.
and being able to put the two worlds together to be able to have a price point to where it's at the same level of consumer, but answer some of the same issues that you just talked about on the
Exactly.
commercial display, having the extended warranty, the 3 years, being able to do the digital signage, being able to do some of the security options, being able to have that true commercial application display at the consumer price point. And
Exactly.
the interesting thing is that we've just gone through a model transition with the BE series, right? So now it was the BETs, and now we're at the BEC model. And so let's talk a little bit about the new BEC from Samsung that
Yep.
answers some of those problems between the consumer and the commercial world.
Absolutely, my pleasure. And the funny thing is, I have a BET on that wall. Camera's facing the wrong way. I bought one myself for the same reason, because Samsung's kind and provides me with LFD samples for engineering, so I can help support everybody out there in the audience, both of you. But the reality
Maybe
is,
we'll have
I
three this time.
we might have three this time. I'll take it. Anybody listening, but I've got a BET myself. I think they're great. I do have a BEC in my lab. I just haven't moved it up to my office yet. They're really fantastic. So physically, not a lot has changed. It is an updated chassis. So what Samsung does, and I love this, whether you call it business TV, that's Samsung's term for these. You
Correct.
and I would call it prosumer. I think you'll also hear commercial light thrown out sometimes because some of Samsung's competitors have used that term. Perfectly valid. But however you want to call that, it was built specifically for this. Let's make something that is a commercial grade product, but they build it off their consumer TV platform. So it shares a lot of things like the control protocols. It shares the menu structure with that. So it's kind of good in most cases. Some people might say it's a little bad because it doesn't have some of the more advanced commercial features. But again, we're selling into a price conscious situation. We're not competing with a heavy duty LFD like the QM that's hanging into the frame behind me. We're competing against a consumer TV.
Right.
So it really is tit for tat with those. And then the BEC is based off of the new CU 7000 chassis, which just came out early this year, whereas the BET was based off of a TU 7000, which, yeah, is about 4 years old. So it's been around for a while. It's a little tiny bit slimmer, not enough anybody notice. It looks very much the same. So it looks like a consumer TV. It's got the little bit thicker bottom bezel with the Samsung logo. It's got the really slim top and sides that it hides most of the bezel behind the glass. So off, it looks pretty seamless. Great picture quality. It's what you come to know from Samsung's consumer TVs. But the important thing from a security standpoint, doesn't have any of the apps. It still has the same kind of software the BET did. So it's got YouTube, it's got a web browser, it's got screen mirroring. They have added Tizen Zero config, which is a really cool feature for people who are deploying a lot of these. You can go on a website and just basically build a configuration for it. And then I can enroll the display by serial number as I point to the old screen. I got to have a prop somewhere. I talk with my hands. And I enroll it by the serial number. And then when you get the display online, it'll just say, oh, I'm enrolled in Tizen. It's Tizen Business Manager is the web page. Tizen Zero config is the
Right.
feature. It'll download the full configuration for you. So now, done, dusted. It comes with table feet, small thing, but in a conference room, that can be really handy. So it just kind of
Definitely.
fits. So it's a nice iteration on top of the BET, and it does use the more updated consumer menu structure, which I personally like a little bit better with a more streamlined smart hub. And it's easier to kind of get those out of the way and just use it as a display,
Right.
which is how I do. So,
And I think one of the great features about the business TV is what they call the Biz TV app, right?
oh yeah,
And this allows for those commercial applications. Say you're in a bar or a restaurant and you want to do some quick and easy digital signage and menu boards and be able to
yep,
have, and you're not an expert on digital signage.
exactly.
The business TV app allows you, I think you just held up your phone, right? To be able to do some quick and easy and very nice looking, if I do say
Yeah,
so myself, digital
exactly.
signage with just using your phone and building it out.
Yeah,
It just,
exactly. It's free. It holds your hand through the process. There's built-in templates. They look good. I'm a technical guy. I'm not creative. You've seen some of the training programs I've produced. I'm not a graphic artist. It honestly, it gives you the tools where even somebody like myself or somebody who's not technical could easily grab that and run. It's great for managing smaller numbers of screens and it's free. So I couldn't come up with a better way. If you need like a basic, simple menu board, on a local coffee shop, I want to throw something
yeah.
up on the wall. I want to get away from having a chalkboard. Boom, perfect solution. It's at a great price point. Absolutely fantastic.
And you don't have to have your integrators be the one who's managing that, right? The end
Right.
user themselves can go in there quick and change a price and it's easy done. No, no mess, no fuss.
Exactly.
Great, great. Well, and the other thing that I want to mention about the BE series is it goes from 43-inch all the way up to 85-inch now.
Yeah, we got the big one back. I
Yes.
missed that. That was kind of a hiccup with the BET. Sorry,
Yep.
Samsung. Where when there was the model transition from the 82-inch to they started making all 85-inch consumer TVs, and the 82 BET went away and the 85 never came around. There was never one that existed. So now having that size back, that's great for. I don't know that I would want an 85-inch menu board, but it's great for conference rooms. I mean, I guess if you want to have people viewing it very far back or they're blind like me, but like for a conference room, that'd be great. And that's like a sweet spot size for a lot of those spaces. Lobby display, equally valid. So yeah, I'm thrilled to see that back. And I will point out other useful feature for anybody who is looking for a display with a tuner. It's a business TV
Yeah.
for a reason. That's the one in the Samsung lineup that has a TV tuner.
The one and the only. And so it's
Yep.
great to be able to have a solution to offer for that as well.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's a great way to wrap it up. And thank you so much for talking about this topic of commercial versus consumer and how we can solve some of these problems with the BEC line, the business TV from Samsung. So
Yep.
thank you again, Jonathan.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time and always being here. And
My
you
pleasure.
have yourself a wonderful rest of your day.
Thanks. You too. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.